Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. I'm a full-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark, and in today's video we're going to be going through the second half of this week's haul, which is all the vintage stuff. So it's not quite as much stuff this time, but there's a lot of good items, a lot of good bolos, stuff to be on the lookout for, so let's go ahead and dive into it. First up, we've got this Disney cruise line. Now, I only listed this or putting this in the vintage stack because the ones that are listed all say Y2K vintage. But this is supposedly vintage Y2K. It is a rugby style polo. So that's what's making this sell. There are none that are listed currently. There are two that are sold. One sold for like 25, the other one around 45. So I'm going to list this somewhere around 30 and hope to get that. I did get it for $4.99. But good item to look out for, vintage Disney stuff, of course. But then also, just be on the lookout for polo-style rugby shirts. They're really hot right now. They sell really well. If it's a good brand like Ralph Lauren, they'll go for $60 to $100. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Next up is vintage LL Bean. And this is kind of like a checked plaid flannel. I just got a vintage LL Bean recently. You'll see it says like Freeport, Maine on the tag. It'll say made in USA. That one sold within a week for like $43. So I think this one will do close to as well. The pattern's not quite as great, but I bet this gets $30 to $40. Vintage LL Bean stuff is definitely good. Definitely look out for that tag. If it says Freeport, Maine, it's probably made in USA. Next up we have Ralph Lauren, and this is vintage Ralph Lauren. It is a seersucker Blake fit. So it's got a few things going for it. These go for 25 to 30 bucks. I got this for $3.99. Definitely a good deal. If you look out for the Ralph Lauren that is white instead of silver, you know it's going to be a little bit older. It's not super vintage, but definitely worth looking into, or at least looking up. Some of the fits are good, some of them not so great. Here is Gant, and this is Gant made in USA. Just a cotton, kind of like an Oxford button-up. Not sure if it is 100%, but it's a good shirt. These go for like 25 to 30 bucks. Again, not a crazy amount, but I actually see these out there quite often, and I've passed up on them because I don't pick up Gant. But apparently the vintage stuff made in USA is still worth picking up. Next up, we've got some 90s Nike. It's got the red swoosh on it. It's like a windbreaker style pullover. I couldn't figure out exactly how to search up comps for it. It does look like the 90s windbreakers do okay, but they were all like zip-up windbreaker jackets. This one's a little different with the pullover. So if you know anything about vintage 90s stuff, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure where to list this at. I know it's worth at least 25, 30 bucks, but it could be more. I just got to do a little bit more digging. This is a Cubs, so Chicago Cubs. This is a vintage single stitch. This is made in America on the homage tag. Never seen that tag before. But it's definitely vintage. 1984 Eastern Division champs. I saw some comps that were similar, not the exact same shirt, but I'm guessing this will go somewhere in the $30 to $50 range. If you see single stitch t-shirts out there, if they've got a made in USA tag on them, even some without the made in USA, if they're single stitch and they're of some relevance, whatever is on them is of some relevance, they're typically worth picking up. The single stitch stuff does pretty well. And speaking of single stitch, we've got a couple more. This one I thought was really cool. I think I'm going to try to get like 50 bucks out of this. This is a single stitch as well. Probably a little harder to see because it's black on black. But this is on the Fruit of the Loom tag, made in USA. It's Juneau, Alaska. The design on there is really cool. So I think I'm going to list this around $50 and see if it gets any bites there. It's a little trickier to navigate the market when it comes to vintage stuff, especially for me, because I just don't find that much vintage stuff out there. We've got, like every city in this area has 100 Jacob Starr clones running around trying to grab every vintage t-shirt. So there's just not a ton out there. I got really lucky actually finding these. I don't see them often. So I haven't picked up that much vintage stuff. Sorry, the puppy and the dog are fighting. But, you know, if I find it out there, I'm definitely looking it up and picking it up. Here's a vintage Bayside tag, made in USA. This is a U.S. Navy shirt. Again, comps, I'm not sure. They're a little all over depending on what it is. But I'm guessing, you know, somewhere in the $30 to $40 range for this, maybe higher. Some of this stuff I got to do a little bit more research on. Here was a cool one that might be a bad grab, but this is jerseys. So vintage jerseys tag. It's a Christmas crew neck. I thought it was really cool, especially for this time of year. So I'm going to try to list this one soon. But maybe 25 to 30 bucks for this. I paid $4.99 for it. I think it's a cool shirt. We'll see on that one. Next up, we've got a vintage made in USA Eddie Bauer. And this is a thermal, like Henley. Super nice. I don't know if I can get the tag to where you can see it's made in USA. Yeah, there it is. So right there, and then usually the cursive style Eddie Bauer tag is going to be a little bit older. So these are good. I think this one's probably worth somewhere in the $30 to $40 range. Next up we have, these are vintage, these are vintage 517. So these are, I think the tag said 83. These are definitely really good. So these are, you know, 100 to 150 bucks for these. It's dark wash, which is good for the boot cut stuff. The tag is messed up pretty bad. So the patch on the back is pretty much gone. I don't know. My thought was to just get rid of it the rest of the way and just have the stitching back there. But let me know what you guys think. Should I remove the rest of this? It's basically falling off. Or leave it as is? Do you think it'd be better off, you know, for buyers? You think it'd increase or decrease the value? I'm just not sure. These were a good size too, I believe. Not decent, 40 by 30, so they're a little bit bigger. But yeah, definitely a good grab. If you see the vintage 517s out there, pick them up. And then next up, this is a pair of Levi's, what are these? 550s. So I find the vintage 550s a lot. These are vintage 550 made in USA. Usually with the red writing on there, it means it's going to be 90s. But you can see the tag style, also 90s style. Some of the late 2000 or early 2000s ones also have the same patch on the back. But these are a pretty good cut. They're not super, super popular, but they're popular enough. Sell-through is decent, and they go for, you know, 40 to 50 bucks. So this is definitely a good grab. If you see them out there for like 10 bucks or less, I would pick them up every time still. Which way? Here we've got some Abercrombie and Fitch. This is a like military style jacket. It is small. It says it's a large, but I know Abercrombie sizes down a ton. It doesn't say whether or not it's men's or women's, so I guess it could be a women's large. But either way, in men's and women's, these military style vintage, it's Y2K Abercrombie jackets do pretty well, like $40 to $50. So definitely a good grab if you see them out there. Abercrombie stuff is, I guess, picking up in popularity from what I've heard. So be on the lookout for some older Abercrombie stuff. It's doing all right. Next up, this one was really cool. This is a Western style pearl snap, but this is vintage 70s. It's Rockmount is the name of the company. And these go for anywhere from $100 to $200 on the top end. I think this is going to be one of the top end ones. It's got like the metallic stitching, I think is what they call it, throughout. All the pearls look really good. It does have these, which I'm not sure if these are supposed to be like gun holsters, but it's these weird little pockets in the front on each side. Let me know what those are. I sat and messed with it for a while trying to figure out what those could possibly be outside of like gun holsters for your Western shirt. I don't know. And, you know, that seems outrageous as well, but that's the only conclusion I could come to. So this is a really good pickup. If you see Rockmount out there, these do really well. They're vintage Western shirts. Next up, we've got, this is the Predator camo. So this style camo, and I don't know if they have this like, if they have like a patent on the style, but the brand is Predator. It's made in USA. It's vintage. I believe it's 80s. But it's this style of camouflage that is very sought after. So it doesn't matter if it is actually the Predator brand or if it's other brands. The other brands also sell really well in this specific camouflage. So I got two of the full suits. I've got the pants right behind them. Let's see here. Pants right behind them. And These full suits sell for anywhere from $100 to $200. I got this set for $12.99 and the other set for $12.99. So if you see this weird looking camouflage pattern out there, I would definitely grab it. Even if you got to pay up a little bit, it seems to be highly sought after. The sell-through is really good and it sells for a pretty good price. And the last item on the list, I found another Type 3. This is, I want to say 70s. I'm not 100% certain. It's 70s or 80s based off of what the tag looks like. It's made in USA. It is a very small size, so it's a size 36, which is going to hurt it a little bit. So I'll probably get like $200, maybe $150 to $200 for this. But if you see these vintage Levi's Type 3 jackets out there, and you can kind of tell by the pocket styling, which has now been ripped off by 100 different companies for their jean jackets. But the Type 3 is definitely worth grabbing still. If it's vintage, these are definitely worth it. This is a great pickup, great find. But that's it. I know the video was probably a little bit shorter than usual, but it was all the vintage stuff I found over the last week. So I wanted to show you guys that. If you made it this far into the video, please like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content. Or if there's something you didn't like or something that I messed up, just let me know in the comments. I'd love some feedback. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.